People sort of looked at you as though you'd had a bereavement, they didn't know how to approach you, or they thought you were contagious. But with the dog, they're a huge icebreaker. They're just absolutely wonderful.
Oyster has just made such a difference to Elizabeth. Makes her more confident when we're out, happier, well, for want of a better phrase, more normal. You know, she just makes such a big difference to her.
It does change your life around, and it does give you the confidence to do things.
This here is Buddy. He's great fun, he's clever and he can do lots of tricks. He's extremely loyal and he's great company, and these are just some of the qualities that make many dogs much more than just pets. The dogs that we're about to meet in the programme are proving their potential of being much more than just man's best friend. Kathy is the owner of disability assistance dog Maisie. After an accident and the diagnosis of multiple illnesses, Kathy was left in a wheelchair and unable to live life like she used to.
I was at work one day, and as a cashier, it was my job to go down for the mail sacks. I went down to pick them up and slipped 3 discs in my back, 2 in the base and 1 in the neck. It was just very, very painful. Didn't think much of it, and went to sleep that night. And the next morning I woke up and I couldn't move at all. I was taken to hospital. They tried to do it by manipulation, but unfortunately they severed the nerves on the left side. They've convinced that it's now myasthenia gravis. It's gone worse, down to the fact that now I have a peg in my stomach, which means that all my food and all my medication, etc., goes through there.
But luckily, Kathy has Maisie to look after her.
The difference it makes to you is, it sounds a bit of a climax, but it's overwhelming. It really is. You're more of a person, you get more confidence in them. And when you realise what these dogs can do, it's just a whole new world. Oh, thank you. Some more, please. Thank you. Thank you. One more. One more, right at the back. Yeah. Thank you. Last one. Good girl. Good girl. Up here. Up here. Thank you. Good girl. Get a look. Get a nice look. Get a nice look. Come on. Get the paper. Get the paper. Good girl. Thank you. Good girl. That's it. Come on. Come on, Poppet. Anything I drop, from keys, earrings, coins and pens, she picks up for me. And if I come out to my chair in a heap, I can't breathe properly. So she sits me up until I'm comfortable. If there is nobody with me, she'll leave the house by the back door and she will go to other houses in the close where I live to go and get some help for me. First of all, I noticed I was quite overwhelmed that people actually spoke to me. People sort of looked at you as though you'd had a bereavement, they didn't know how to approach you, or they thought you were contagious. If you spoke to them, they'd catch something, or even what you've got, it would be passed on. But with the dog, they're a huge icebreaker. People actually speak to you. A lot of people with disabilities are very lonely, and it's amazing how just someone speaking to you can have a chat with you. Just passing the time of day with a dog can make a huge difference to someone. Oyster forward. Oyster forward.
Go.
Careful, hold on.
Right, hold on to Oyster, Elizabeth.
Now.
Oyster forward.
6-year-old Elizabeth is severely autistic. Her autism assistance dog Oyster accompanies her everywhere she goes to help keep her calm. Elizabeth also turns to Oyster when she's struggling to express her emotions.
Before we had Oyster, Elizabeth was very kind of introverted. She wouldn't communicate with many people really. But then having Oyster changed that. You know, she started communicating, saying a lot more, and it's just made her a happier, more content child. Oyster's Elizabeth's best friend, really.
And Oyster never used to sleep in Elizabeth's bedroom, but now sometimes she sneaks in a bedroom,
Yes.
doesn't she, and wants to stay there,
Yeah.
doesn't want to come out.
Yeah.
Where she didn't do that initially.
But no, so it's fab.
Brilliant connection they've got.
Elizabeth's brother has also noticed Oyster's positive effect.
Oyster just helps us because Elizabeth holds her and Oyster just really helps her because before we had her, she just refused to walk and she didn't talk very well. But then Oyster made her talk a lot more.
Unfortunately for the family, there's some things that even Oyster can't help with.
Elizabeth. Well, because we've just come out of the car and walked round Sainsbury's, the shop, she doesn't want, she knows the car's just round the corner now from the shop, so she doesn't want to walk anywhere else, because this is what we normally do, come down in the car, walk round the shop, get a magazine, and then go back to the car. Well done, Oyster forward. Good girl.
Hello, Daniel.
Well done. Are you okay now?
Elizabeth?
Hold on to Oyster. We used to have lots of tuts and lots of that. I can't believe them parents aren't really telling that child off, and it used to be really upsetting, didn't it? In fact, I could probably get quite upset. In fact, there was one point, we were at the Metro Centre, weren't we, and there was these ladies next to us tutting and everything, and eventually I turned around and said, I'm sorry, but my daughter's got autism. But now we have Oyster. People understand that obviously there's something the matter with Elizabeth, seeing a support dog with her, so it makes us feel a lot more confident. The best thing we've ever done is get Oyster. When I got that diagnosis that day when I was in tears, look on the internet and saw support dogs came up. I applied, I think, that day. I think I was on the phone thinking we'll just try and make anything happy. Well, I'm getting upset here talking about it. I just want to make her life happy as possible. So we just take every day as it comes and appreciate every day, don't we, with her?
Yeah.
Because we just don't know what's around the corner.
Viv has been deaf for over 40 years and living alone after years of living with her husband left her with little confidence. Her hearing dog Jack has given her back the confidence that she once lost, and she can now leave the house alone.
I've been deaf from 12-year-old. The symptoms was glue ear and then other infections set in, so I went completely deaf when I was 20. I relied on my husband to do everything for me, and we split after 40 years, and it was very hard. And then Jack came into my life and he was a godsend. My life turned around and everything went okay. He's just given me all my confidence back. I can do most things that I want to do, and he's a friend as well as a companion, and we just go all over together. In the morning he just wakes me up with a big smile on his face and a wet nose. He'll scrabble on me and let me know when the doorbell goes off. I've no fear if the fire alarm goes off or anything. What is it?
Jack and all other service dogs can tell the difference between when they're working and when they're playing.
When we're out and he's got his working coat on, you're not really supposed to touch the dogs. But if I say release to him, then they can stroke him.
Service dogs need to play and be comforted just like any other dog. Breaks from working and looking after their owners are vital.
Jack's just like any other dog. When he's off his lead, he likes to play. I don't think people do realise how clever they are, and there's only a few that you do see. You mainly hear about the blind and the deaf have only just recently come on the scene more and more now. It does change your life around, and it does give you the confidence to do things. I think I'd still be very lonely and probably wouldn't go out, so it's worth it.
Support Dogs is just one of the 5 charities in the UK that funds service dog training. At a cost of £12,000 per dog and with no government funding, they can't train as many dogs as they'd like to. 2 of the service dogs that were in training when I visited were Blue and Billy.
This is the targeting, so what we're going to do is teach him to touch with his paw, just this little bit of white tape. Good boy. So what we're getting the dog to do here is, good boy, is target this bit. Blue, touch. Good boy, I'll make it a bit lower for him. Good boy, that's a good man. Good lad. Touch. Good boy. And then what this does is, if, say we wanted the door closing, good lad, it then close the door. So what we do is, again, we just start off as a game. You know, most dogs like a game of tug, so that's exactly how we start with this one. Good boy. And then when he does a really good tug, we click and treat him for it. And so then once he's doing that quite well, we can then put this item onto, say, door handles. Good boy, Paul. Good lad. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. Wait. Fetch it. Good boy. So that helps him get used to, say, if he's got to reach onto surfaces to get, say, a phone. Good boy, fetch it. Good lad. That's a good boy. Good boy.
After just 1 week of training, Blue massively progressed. Tracy has been training Billy and he's now learning in public. He'll soon be ready to meet his new owner.
It's really important that we expose them to as many restricted areas as we possibly can, getting them used to a variety of different shops. Billy, sit. Good boy. And forward. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. Billy, sit. Good boy. And down. Billy, down. Good boy, wait. Good boy. And wait. Good lad, Billy.
With more funding and recognition, more of these fascinating dogs could complete the lives of those people who need assistance.
Good boy. And forward. Good lad.
I would recommend for anybody to get an hearing dog. It's a lot of hard work, but it's well worth it in the end.
It makes such a massive difference, and for autistic children, anything that's going to help them, I think you've got to go for it.
I would say, don't think twice about it, do it. Jump in with both feet, because until you try it, you don't realise how life-changing it is.